This morning on Today's Health, the thyroid. It's the power center of our bodies, but for 10 million women, the gland is kind of on the fritz, which could lead to infertility, chronic depression, and cardiac problems. So how can you know if your thyroid is not working properly? Dr. Carrie Peterson is a contributor to Women's Health magazine. Dr. Peterson, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah.
You know, it's, I think, about the size of a finger, right? And so important. Just to start us out, what is the thyroid and what does it do in our bodies?
Well, the thyroid is a gland, and it's shaped like a butterfly, and it sits in the lower part of the neck. So it's about that big. And it plays a wide role of functions. Primarily, it regulates body temperature and metabolism, but it really has a role in every part of the body. It keeps the brain sharp, it keeps the bowels moving, your periods regular, and it contributes to hair and nail health as well.
And millions of people have thyroid disorders, more women than men. What is it about women that makes them more susceptible to problems with the thyroid?
Yeah, it's quite significant. Actually, Women's Health found that women have 12 times more likelihood of developing thyroid disease than men. And it's thought that because thyroid disease is predominantly autoimmune and that women are prone to autoimmune diseases, that there's some association. But really it is genetic primarily. And also, actually, pregnancy does play a role because when women become pregnant, their incidence of thyroid disease goes up.
And as I understand it, you can have two different kinds of problems with your thyroid. You can either be producing too little thyroid hormones or too much of it. Too little is hypothyroidism.
Yes, hypo.
That's not that easy to say.
No.
Easier to read than say. So what are the symptoms of that?
So first, hypothyroidism, which is when the gland makes too little, basically everything slows down. So you get weight gain, constipation, dry hair and nails, irregular periods, feeling weak when you work out with no explanation. You can even get hair loss.
These are kind of general symptoms. I mean, how does somebody know that it may be something with the thyroid?
Well, if you bring it to the attention of your doctor that you're tired quite often, then doctors typically will screen for thyroid problems as a cause. But it can be challenging because the symptoms are subtle and they're very gradual in onset.
And what's the treatment for, I'm going to take another crack at this, hypothyroidism? Ding, ding, ding.
Good job. The treatment is replacing the thyroid hormone with a synthetic thyroid hormone medication. And initially, you'll have to have testing with blood tests probably every 6 weeks until you get the levels right.
And hypothyroidism is more common.
Yes.
Than hyperthyroidism, which is
that's when
too
you have
much.
Right, exactly. So you have an overproduction of thyroid hormone. And basically, the exact opposite happens. Everything speeds up. So you get diarrhea, you get weight loss. Your heart races rapidly. You can get jittery. It almost feels like you had too many cups of coffee, like you're really revved up.
And does it come on quickly?
It comes on much more quickly than hypothyroidism, and because the symptoms are more severe, it's actually much easier to diagnose.
And what's the treatment then for hyperthyroidism?
It's a little different. You take a medication every day that slows the production of the hormones, or you can do radioactive iodine, which destroys the thyroid tissue.
Because is the issue that you don't, with either of these conditions, you don't have enough iodine? Is that the problem, essentially?
Not necessarily. When you're iodine deficient, you can have difficulty making thyroid hormone, so it can actually cause thyroid deficiency, but it's not necessarily of an autoimmune cause.
Let's talk prevention. What are some of the things you can do to make sure you keep your thyroid healthy if you're lucky enough to have one?
Well, one thing is to make sure you get enough iodine in your diet. Yeah. Basically, iodine is fortified in foods, in salts and in breads, and nowadays so many people are having gluten-free diets or salt-free diets that they may be deficient. So take a multivitamin with about 150 micrograms in the vitamin.
You say quit smoking, so cigarettes exacerbates this.
They do. So smokers have twice the likelihood of developing hyperthyroidism than non-smokers. And if you quit smoking, you can reduce that risk.
And last thing, check your neck. Really, literally check your neck?
This is a tough one, and you can try it. Basically, tilt your head back, swallow, and look to see if any bulges protrude from the lower neck right here.
I might have you try this on me. Okay, but if it feels thick.
And if you see any bulges protruding from your neck, you may have a thyroid problem.
Okay, or you could have your doctor check your neck.
That too.
Dr. Carrie Peterson, good information this morning. Thank you.